This is the AB4WS radio show. Every week, bringing you the exciting amateur radio news and information happening in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana areas.
The AB4WS radio show can be found on the Apple Podcast app or your favorite podcast application. Hams in Central Kentucky have launched a whisper balloon with the call sign KY4EOD along with APRS KQ4JUJ-1. The APRS balloon can be tracked on APRS.FI, however the whisper balloon gets tracked on a different system. It can be tracked by going to traguito.github.io and click on the spot search and enter KY4EOD in the call sign block, channel 200 in the channel block, and use a start date of 7/8 of 2024, and the travel should be seen on the map. Pretty interesting stuff. Whisper is set up to transmit on 20 meters every 10 minutes on the 8s by sending the standard Whisper transmission of call sign, power, and Maidenhead grid. And then on the 10, it transmits telemetry data of more precise Maidenhead grid suffix, voltage, altitude, and GPS status. Very interesting to follow the progress of the balloon as it drifts through the sky. Amateur radio on the International Space Station, better known as ARISS, is requesting educational organizations to submit proposals to conduct amateur radio contacts with astronauts on the International Space Station. Proposals may be submitted between July 8th and September 6th. For information on the application process, go to ariss.org. Mike Blankenship, AF4BN of Elizabethtown, Kentucky, has become a silent key. Mike was a retired firefighter and then worked as a 911 dispatcher for a while after he retired. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his many family and friends. The ARRL Foundation has opened the Club Grant Program for 2024 and accepting applications now through July 26, 2024. For information on how your club can apply to receive one of these grants, go to arrl.org/club-grant-program. The Brunch Bunch will be meeting on July 13th at 1 p.m. at the Pig Candy Barbecue, 5901 Kellogg Avenue in California, Ohio, just off I-275. You know how hams love their barbecue. The Queen City Emergency Net will hold their meeting as the annual picnic on July 13th at noon at Selman Park in Madeira. Queen City Triathlon is on July 14th at Cedar Creek State Park from 7 to noon, and the amateur radio volunteers are needed for communication support for this event. They'll be using the X-Horn repeater on 147.165 with a PL tone of 123.0. If you'd like to volunteer, reach out to Bob, N8ADO at N8ADO@WOH.RR.com. The Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will be meeting on July 15, 2024 at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky, where Dave Core, KWDA, will tell us all about ballons and onions. On July 18th, the Milford Amateur Radio Club will hold their meeting at 7:30 p.m. at the Miami Township Civic Center, Mulberry Room, 6101 Meyer Drive in Milford, Ohio. On July 20th at 9 a.m., the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club Breakfast event will be at the Log Cabin Inn, 322 Madison Pike in Covington, Kentucky. Everyone's welcome. Please RSVP to K4LOM. Are you fighting RFI issues with noise destroying your amateur radio experience? Well, on July 21st at 7 p.m., the Newcomer and Elmernet with Robert, K4PKM, will be talking all about RFI issues and how to mitigate them. So make sure you tune in to the net on the Okayan Amateur Radio Society repeater of 146.670 with a PL tone of 123.0, so you can arm yourself with the information on how to silence all those RFI issues. On July 22nd, the Amateur Radio Emergency Team in Northern Kentucky will meet at 7 p.m. at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky. This will be a very important meeting where the second reading of the new Constitution and bylaws will be voted on, which will dramatically change this organization, bringing it up to date and into the future to better serve the Northern Kentucky area. If you're interested in amateur radio emergency communications, come on out to this meeting and get in on the ground floor to the evolution of this organization. On July 27th, the Dave Kalter Memorial Youth DX Adventure will operate a special event station using the call sign of K3Y, operating from the K3LR contesting station, and will participate in the RSGB IOTA contest as youth operators. Listen out for them and give them a QSO. On July 27th at 6 p.m., the MONIX group will have a combined North and South meeting at the Forest Park Firehouse, 1201 West Kemper Road, just off I-275 at exit 39 Whitten Road. Because there is limited space and a tour involved, they're requesting that you RSVP either to Rod, KJ4IAM, or Dave Williams. A great event to volunteer for is Paddlefesst, where amateur radio operators provide communications for safety and logistics for the big Paddlefesst event on the Ohio River. This year, Paddlefesst will be held on August 3rd, 2024. There are positions both on the river and on the shore. If you would like to volunteer for this fun event, email Rick, KD4PYR, at KD4PYR at ARRL.net. The Murray State University Amateur Radio Club, K4MSU, has announced the particulars on this year's 5th anniversary Kentucky Parks on the Air contest to be held on August 10, 2024 from 1400 hours UTC to 2200 hours UTC. For the particular modes, bands, rules, and all the other important information, go to k4msu.com/KYPOTA. The Air Force Marathon is looking for a few good hams to volunteer to provide communications assistance for the event on Saturday, September 21st in the area of the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force. For more information or to volunteer, email Bob, N8ADO at afm.hams@gmail.com. How would you like to win a new ham radio? Well, the Milford Amateur Radio Club has started raffles for 2 radios that are given away. The first is for a Yaesu FTM 300DR and the second for a Yaesu FT710. For more information on how you can win these rigs, go to milfordhamradio.org. September 7th is the Ohio State Parks on the Air event from 1400 hours UTC to 2200 hours UTC. For more information, go to ospota.org.
Repeater news.
The W4WS DSTAR repeater in Bowling Green, Kentucky is back online. Check it out.
Hamfests.
July 20th is the 2nd annual Northeast Ohio Amateur Radio Roundup from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Harry Meshel Picnic Area at the Lake Milton State Park, 590 Milton Avenue in Milton, Ohio. They'll have presentations on POTA, antenna building and experimenting, show and tell, and other amateur radio topics. They'll have a fox hunt at 2 p.m. On July 20th is the 3rd annual Ashtabula Hamfest at the Pioneer Picnic, 1809 Middle Road in Pierpoint, Ohio. Talking on the 146.895 repeater with a PL of 141.3. On July 21st is the Van Wert Hamfest at the Van Wert County Fairgrounds, 1055 South Washington Street in Van Wert, Ohio. For more information, go to w8fy.org. August 3rd is the Columbus, Ohio Hamfest at the Aladdin Shrine Center, 1801 Gateway Circle in Grove City, Ohio. August 10th is the Cincinnati Hamfest at the Claremont County Fairgrounds in Owensville, Ohio. For more information, see milfordhamradio.org. August 10th is the Letcher County, Kentucky Hamfest from 8 a.m. to noon. August 18th is the Warren Hamfest at the Trumbull County Fairgrounds, 899 Everett Hall Road in Cortland, Ohio. Talking on 146.970 repeater. September 8th is the Findlay, Ohio Hamfest at the Hancock County Fairgrounds, 1017 East Sandusky Street in Findlay, Ohio. Talking on the 147.150 repeater with a PL of 88.5. On September 14th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. is the Richmond, Kentucky Hamfest at the Madison County Fairgrounds, 3237 Old Kentucky Highway 52 in Richmond, Kentucky. On September 22nd is the Cleveland, Ohio Hamfest at the Cuyahoga County Fairgrounds, 164 Eastland Road in Berea, Ohio. Talking on the 145.410 repeater with a PL of 110.9. The Grant Radio Club has announced the return of the Georgetown, Ohio Hamfest this year on November the 9th from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m.
Are you looking to upgrade your license? Do you have someone else that's interested in the hobby? Here are some upcoming exam opportunities.
The Milford Amateur Radio Club holds amateur radio testing on the 3rd Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. at the Miami Township Civic Center, 6101 Meyer Drive in Milford, Ohio. Please pre-register at milfordhamradio.org. The Dayton Amateur Radio Association has exams frequently. For their exam schedule, email exams.w8bi@gmail.com. On July 13th, the Westchester Amateur Radio Association will hold an amateur radio exam session at 10 a.m. at the Voice of America Museum, 8070 Tylersville Road in Westchester, Ohio. Please pre-register at hamstudy.org/sessions/WC8VOA. On July 13th at 10 a.m., an amateur radio exam session will be held at the Clark County Emergency Operations Center, 200 Maryland Drive in Winchester, Kentucky. Please pre-register at hamstudy.org/sessions/AC4YD. For more information, contact Darrell Epperson, AC4YD at 859-771-1834. On July 15th, the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will host an amateur radio exam session at 5:30 p.m. at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky. You must register by emailing Mark Volstad, AI4BJ at MVOLSTAD@TWC.com. On July 18th, the Milford Amateur Radio Club will host an amateur radio license exam session at 6 p.m. at the Miami Township Civic Center, Mulberry Room, 6101 Meyer Drive in Milford, Ohio. Please pre-register at milfordhamradio.org. On July 23rd at 6 p.m., an amateur radio testing session will be held at the Anderson County Extension Building. Use the rear entrance, lower level, 1026 Kenny Park Road in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. For more information, contact Brian Carter, KI4TLW at 502-545-0376. On Saturday, July 27th at 10 a.m., the Wilderness Road Amateur Radio Club will sponsor an amateur radio license exam session at the American Legion post number 46, 45 Spears Lane in Danville, Kentucky. Pre-register at hamstudy.org/sessions. For more information, contact Harold Miller, AF6MB at 541-602-6535. Special thanks to this week's content contributors: ABHEJ, KE4WA, KY4GW, WB8YYS, KD8ZLD, K9HIO, N8LAR, K4NKU.
If you have something you think other amateur radio operators in the area would be interested in, send the information or your recorded audio file attached in an email to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com.
Covering your amateur radio news and information in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana tri-state area. This is Jack Prindle, AB4WS in Big Bone, Kentucky.